Hello and welcome to the Lex-Praxis channel. In today's video, I'm going to be walking you through how to legally set up a pharmaceutical company in Nigeria. The health sector is a very delicate sector in any economy, and that is why in Nigeria, the pharmaceutical industry is highly regulated. Now, if you are a Nigerian business owner or a foreign investor who is looking to set up a pharmaceutical company in Nigeria, this video is going to be walking you through the various step-by-step process for doing so to avoid complications and legal stress when operating your pharmaceutical company. In this video, I'm going to be explaining what a pharmaceutical company is within the context of the law. I would also be explaining the types of pharmaceutical company that is obtainable in Nigeria and the legal considerations and license requirements for starting and operating a pharmaceutical company in Nigeria. Now, let's get right into it. What is a pharmaceutical company in Nigeria? Now, within the context of the law, a pharmaceutical company in Nigeria or a legally recognized pharmaceutical company in Nigeria is permitted to carry out the following activities. Number one, production of drugs, marketing of pharmaceutical products, importation and exportation, wholesale and distribution of pharmaceutical products, and retail sale of medicines. So if your business activities falls within the 5 categories of activities that is listed here, then you are well within the category of operating within the pharmaceutical industry as a pharmaceutical company, and you very well fall under the regulations that has been put out for setting up and operating a pharmaceutical company in Nigeria. Now, what are the types of pharmaceutical companies that are obtainable in Nigeria? The first category is the retail pharmacy. We also have the pharmacy that is involved in manufacturing, production, importation, and distribution of pharmaceutical products in Nigeria. And we also have the community pharmacy. Now, I'm going to be explaining the membership and license considerations that you need to take note of if you are operating any of these kinds of pharmaceutical companies that I have just mentioned. Now, for the retail pharmacy, it's important for you to take note of the fact that when it comes to membership, of course, in the retail, this is what we refer to in practice here as a drugstore or a kiosk, right? So basically, you're selling pharmaceutical products in retail, right, to members of the public. Now, the requirements for operating a retail pharmacy as put out by the regulations in Nigeria is that a Nigerian licensed pharmacist must be operating in such retail pharmacy outlets. It's very mandatory that you have a Nigerian licensed pharmacist situated in the physical premises of that retail pharmacy. It is also important that it is a Nigerian licensed pharmacist that is the owner, 100% owner of that pharmacy. So if it is a company, that pharmacy must be both the director and 100% shareholder of such retail pharmaceutical company to be able to be licensed and to be authorized to operate legally in Nigeria. So that is a constitution to take note of. Now, for the other kind of pharmacy, which is the pharmacy that is involved in wholesale, importation, manufacturing, and distribution of pharmaceutical products in Nigeria, under this category, it is required that a Nigerian licensed pharmacist can be a director or should be a director of that pharmaceutical company and a shareholder, but not necessarily a majority or 100% shareholder of such pharmaceutical company. So the 100% ownership rule by a Nigerian licensed pharmacist is not obtainable for this kind of pharmaceutical company, right? Now, the third category, which is the community pharmacy, is a little bit similar in terms of operations to a retail pharmacy. What this means is that the license requirement in terms of membership or ownership by a Nigerian licensed pharmacist is also mandatory for operating a community pharmacy. Of course, the only difference between a retail pharmacy and a community pharmacy is that they are rendering or they're into the sale of pharmaceutical products, but targeted at communities, right? So that's just the slight difference, but I'm sure you've taken note of the membership requirements and the license requirements too for operating this. Now let's get down to the step-by-step guide for operating or registering a pharmaceutical company in Nigeria. The first step is to have your company incorporated with the Corporate Affairs Commission in Nigeria. Please take note that in the case of a foreign investor, that is where the pharmaceutical company has foreign participation. In other words, by foreign participation, I mean where a foreigner is included as either a shareholder or director of the company. That company must be incorporated with a minimum of 100 million share capital. This step legally creates the entity structure of the company. Now, the next step is to have the premises, the pharmaceutical company's premises, registered with the Pharmaceutical Council of Nigeria. This is the council, or this is the body that regulates the operations and management and formation of pharmaceutical companies in Nigeria. So it's important that the premises is registered there. Now, depending on the kind of pharmaceutical company that you are operating, there are different documents that has to be submitted for approval by the PCN during the registration process. They include the PCN application forms, the pharmacist annual license, the incorporation documents of the pharmaceutical company, evidence of a pharmacist on the board, letters of appointment and undertakings, and company constitutional documents. Now, for companies that are into the manufacturing, importation, and distribution of pharmaceutical products, alongside the documents that I just recently mentioned, you are to also include this: factory layout, production flow charts, SOPs and cleaning procedures, water and analysis reports, equipment lists, and staff qualifications. This is very important. Now, the next step, or before I go to the next step, it's important to also note this: concerning the premises of a pharmaceutical company, there are certain kinds of locations that, under regulation, that a pharmaceutical company should not be located in. For instance, a pharmaceutical company cannot be located in a filling station, cannot be located in an open marketplace, it cannot be located in motor parks or kiosks. These areas are a no-no and could limit or disqualify your premises for approval, right, during the license application process. Now, the third step to setting up a pharmaceutical company in Nigeria is inspection by the PCN inspectors. So after submitting your documents for registration of the process, for registration of the premises, the next step is to also receive the PCN inspectors, who will come to do a thorough job to confirm that your premises is operating in accordance with the laid down requirements for operating such premises within the country. Now, the summary of it is, if there is no inspection, there is no approval. It is the inspection that will necessitate or give rise to a final approval by the PCN, right? And the next step after inspection is payment of the registration fees for licensing. So there is the registration fee that is paid during the application stage, and then there is the yearly or annual fee that is paid even after licensing or approval for your premises, license or approval to operate a premise is given. So you need to take note of that, right? Now, apart from obtaining the license or registration of your premises from the PCN Council, there is also the NAFDAC registration. Now, NAFDAC registration is subjective. It depends on your activities. So in a situation where you're into manufacturing, importation of pharmaceutical products in Nigeria, for instance, it is important that the pharmaceutical products are properly registered and licensed by the NAFDAC, which is the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control. So it's important that you also take note of that, and so many other license considerations that you may need to take note of depending on your activities or your proposed activities for setting up and operating a pharmaceutical company in Nigeria. So that is why it's important that you sit down with someone, a consultant, who you can speak with and be able to you'll be able to gain clarity as regards what will be expected of the founders or promoters of that company when it comes to establishing and operating that kind of company within Nigeria. So that is everything you need to know in summary about how to legally set up a pharmaceutical company in Nigeria. In summary, I'll say this: setting up or establishing a pharmaceutical company in Nigeria is beyond just following legal procedures, step-by-step rules. There are so many considerations to take note of, and that is why it is important that before you leap into this kind of project, that you are intentional about getting adequate legal advice. There are so many concerns or technicalities that come to play when it comes to setting up a pharmaceutical company, considering the fact that it is highly regulated. So you need to ensure that you cross your I's and you dot your T's. If you need to get consultation, do that, right? Do that so that you will be able to start and operate on the right footing in the country, in Nigeria, of course. So I hope you found this video useful. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. And if you would like to speak with any member of our team directly, you can reach out to us through any of the contact information displayed on this screen, and we'll be happy to speak with you. Also, I hope if you found this video useful, please do us a favor. Feel free to like the video, comment, and also share to anybody who you believe will largely benefit from this video and would really appreciate it. So until I come your way again, this is me saying bye for now.